Dollars on our mind. Ideas all the time. We might get distracted, but we're building wealth just fine. This is dollars and distractions. If we went off track, just know we're coming back. More money, more mindset, no holding back. Dollars and distractions.
Hey, I'm Bec,
And I'm Maryanne.
and this is Dollars and Distraction.
All right. So have you ever looked around and felt like everyone else has their financial life together? They're ticking their milestones and you're falling behind.
All the time.
Well,
the time.
today that's what we're talking about.
Yes.
We're talking about that feeling of looking at everyone else, comparing, and then having that deep-seated feeling of you're falling behind.
Yeah. Especially in a world, I think, where there's social media and there's this big thing about making sure that we see the positive and all the good things happening and not always hearing about, in everything, I guess, hearing about the, not necessarily bad, but circumstances that, change along the way.
Yeah, and we all know that when you're looking at social media, you're just seeing someone's highlight reel. You're not seeing the things behind the scene that go into making them or helping them get to where they are now.
Yeah.
Or the challenges that they're currently facing.
Yeah.
But I know even as a business owner, I can sometimes see other business owners in my industry putting things out on social media, for example, where I'm like, oh, I'm not doing that well. And then all of a sudden that internal chatter starts bubbling up.
Absolutely. And I don't think it's always just social media, it's wherever we go.
Yeah.
It's at a barbecue, people aren't going to air the stuff that goes on behind, closed doors either. If the business is going bad, people aren't going to go, oh, look, yeah, something happened and
It's very much a nationality. How's business? Yeah, it's good. It's good.
yeah, yeah. And there's a culture too, I've learned from, you two in finance, that you see people with big cars and big caravans and big houses and you go, oh, they're doing good. Yes, okay, they are doing good, but you also don't know what's behind that. So
100%.
you could be in a ton of debt. You could be busting every week to pay those things, but there's just an assumption that someone else is doing better.
Yeah, and that's interesting because there's a lot of that happening, particularly I know in my life everyone was buying a caravan.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden that was the thing, and whether you could afford it or not,
Yeah.
just almost keeping up with the Joneses, but you're not doing it for that reason. You're doing it, you feel like you're falling behind, or
Yep.
I've had meetings with first home buyers who are in their, say, late 30s, even 40s. I even have first home buyers in their 50s that will say little comments in the meeting like, oh, I know we're a bit late, but we're here. And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
No, I mean, obviously the earlier you get into the property market, the better it can be for you. But for some people, that's just not an option.
No, and sometimes life just deals you different cards too. You may not have family for that support, or you might be able to do that earlier because you're not seeing that those people are getting family support, but you might be saving and you are doing the right thing, but you still feel like you are not, where you should be.
So let's talk about the traps of when you do start to feel like you're falling behind.
Yeah.
Because I know, and I touched on this just a little bit earlier, for me, I know I then spiral, that self-talk. You're not good enough. You're never going to make it. That broker's better than you. And
Yeah.
it's not healthy.
No. And I think from our last episode, like we said, there's so much info out there that it does make you reluctant to then maybe go and ask the question because you think that you are automatically behind, where you might have been saving and saving and saving, but you are doing the right thing, but you just automatically think, okay, there's not enough savings or there's not enough whatever. But it's just being able to have the knowledge that we said,
Yeah.
and have the conversation.
or you're not getting the full story. So you're
Yeah.
comparing yourself with someone who is in a very different circumstance to you, or
Yep.
things are very different. They might have had an inheritance that gifted them half of what they needed to get into the
Yep.
property market. And here you are comparing yourself. You're not good enough because you haven't had an inheritance. Do
Yep.
you know what I mean?
Yep.
So I think there's the risk of you start to beat yourself up
Yep.
and not be grateful for where you are right now.
Yeah.
Uh,
Or you could be better off than you think you are as well,
yes.
because you're right. I think everybody automatically somehow compares to somebody else, whether you're subconsciously doing it or you're not. It's our world right now, isn't it?
It very much is.
Yeah.
Very much.
So it's about getting the clarity to know that where you're at. Yeah, you might be a little bit behind, but you need to have a goal to go, a direction.
Yeah.
Or something
Yeah.
just to say,
I think, I don't know about you, but I like to play around with a circuit breaker type thing when I do start to compare myself. So I'm always going to come back to the business example because that's probably where I have the biggest imposter syndrome.
yeah,
Because, who am I to do what other brokers do? But the circuit breaker I often use is I will have a look at when I first started the business and where I am now.
yeah,
And then looking back at how far I've come absolutely shocks me and gives me that sense of pride back that, we all need just to pep yourself up.
yeah,
But then I'll also stop following. So if there's a particular broker that's doing really good with their social media, but that's making me judge myself,
yeah,
I will remove myself
yeah, absolutely.
from that kind of do you know what I'm trying to say?
Well, I do exactly the same.
Okay.
Circumstances changed for me a few years ago, like separation, that sort of thing. I was in a different trajectory. Yes, it changes, but like I don't no longer compare to whatever. It just means I'm on a direction, but it just means I've had to go a little bit to the side of that. But you can still get somewhere, but it's just in a different way of doing it.
So what's your circuit breaker? What do you do to go, come on, Bec, you're on a different path, you're doing fine, stop?
It's just realizing that I am doing okay.
Okay.
I'm not living off credit. I'm not, I'm not drowning in debt. I don't know, I always come back to there's always somebody worse off, like.
And I'm probably going to take us on a tandem here because it's what we do.
Yeah.
But even if you are living off credit,
Yep.
even if you do have that fancy car, but it's maxed out with the debt
Yep.
behind it, even just realizing that and going, well, I don't
Still
want
like-
this.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's progress.
Absolutely.
Or saying, okay, but I did want this. This is my definition of success. So I'm okay with that.
Exactly.
That's fine too.
Yeah. And everyone's got a different appetite for different
Absolutely.
risk in anything. Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although my preference is to tick up less, especially things with cars and things like that are a depreciating value.
But I think both of us too have had, and everybody's got a different circumstance, but it's not just separations and things like that in 30s and 40s. There's health. Health can change. Like we both know, health can change things really quick. So, I think in the back of my mind now I go, well, you don't want to be, you want to be living in your means rather than,
yes,
outside of that. But in saying that, when I was 20, it would have been a different thing to when I'm in your 40s.
Yes.
Too.
When I think about the money I spent on handbags and shoes in my 20s, I
wasted.
Was it wasted? Yes, it was wasted.
Oh, but back then that's what was important to you.
That was what was important.
Yeah, like we were saying. So depending on what's important to you, is so different for everybody.
Yeah, similar to how my husband can justify spending a lot of money on fishing and hunting gear.
But he's living. But he is.
Are you arguing for him?
No, I'm not.
Is he paying you?
No. Not in fishing gear.
But on that, so again, taking a sidetrack on that, it's interesting how we were talking earlier today about how he can justify that, but then for me to justify spending that amount of money on something just for me, so not for the kids, not for the house.
I was just going to say, prime example, we spend on our kids, never think like about
it costs what it costs. They're my children. I will pay it.
But you come to yourself and you're like,
do I really need that?
Yeah, I don't really need it.
I also find myself asking permission.
Yeah,
which is ridiculous.
Well, we had that conversation where we go, you deserve that. But, is it like, it's
Yeah.
that word deserve,
Yeah.
isn't it? We don't have to deserve. It's just, if that's important to us. So I think we went on a tangent there, but it, it comes back to what everybody's goals are completely different.
Yes.
And where they are, what is success is very different to what somebody else's success is.
Yeah,
Yeah, one could
absolutely.
be like and in saying that, you can be in great amount of debt and be in a perfect,
Yeah.
trajectory of where you're going,
Yeah.
It's just having that goal,
Of
that
knowing
goal
where
to
you're
start
going.
with.
So I guess for me, a key takeaway for today's episode would be know what your circuit breaker is.
Yep.
Because there will be something, it'll be different for everyone, but there'll be something that grounds you back to, hang on, social media is not real.
Yep.
All my friends getting married this year, that's fine. That's
Yep.
good for them, but that's not my path.
Yeah.
So know your circuit breaker so that when you find that happening, you can just step on it straight away.
Yeah.
And then when that happens, take one small step towards what your goal is. So if your goal is to grow a portfolio or retire, that you're working part-time or whatever it looks like, well, then go and buy, I don't know, a share, if that's what you can afford, or go and put some more money into your savings account for your first home.
Yeah.
Something that you then go, okay, well, I've stopped comparing myself, circuit broken that.
Yeah.
And now I'm one tiny little step closer towards my end goal.
Yeah. And I think the same as we said last time, it's having the conversation, if one of your goals is to buy, or even if it is investing and using leverage of what you have, it really all comes back to that conversation. Hey,
Yeah.
to know where you are currently at, where you want to go,
And what steps you need to be taking to get there.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And what specialists along the way you should be engaging so that you can get the right advice.
Yeah.
Or even just get different opinions.
Yep.
So that you're not just taking one person, my accountant said that this is what I have to do. You're getting an array.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you'll go to barbecues and you'll hear everybody doing it completely different.
Yeah.
Everyone's doing something completely different.
Speaking of going to barbecues.
Yeah. Are we having one?
No, but we've got our what clients are asking us right now segment.
Yes.
So Bec, what are our clients asking us? What's the most common question we're getting at the moment?
What is going to happen with the rates?
Yeah.
They keep going up?
No. Okay. Answer it.
No, you.
Can I give you I'll give you two answers.
Okay.
I'll give you my mortgage broker answer that I give my clients, and then I'll give you my Maryanne. Now's a really good time to mention that anything we talk about on this podcast is in educational purposes only.
Absolutely.
And you do
It's not
need
gospel.
absolutely. And you do need to speak to an expert about your particular circumstances before you go and do anything.
Absolutely.
Okay, so my mortgage broker answer is I don't have a crystal ball. None of us know what the interest rates are going to do. But if you're asking that question, it's because in the back of your mind, either you're looking for something to say because you're at a barbecue on a weekend and you're trying to make conversation, or something in the back of your mind is nervous.
Yeah.
That if interest rates start to go back up like they did a couple of years ago, a year, 2 years, I don't know, time just meshes when you're perimenopause. It's just all the time.
And chin has.
Have I got that? I haven't seen any yet. Look out.
I haven't seen yours.
Okay, but you'll tell me, right?
100%.
Thank you. 100%.
Oh,
Side note, we worked out after recording that Bec says 100% a lot of
all the time.
and I say 100%
But you probably follow.
a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so if that makes you worried that interest rates could go up, then that is a conversation that you should be having with your mortgage broker or with us if you don't have one about what that looks like for now and in the future, what your long-term plans are.
Yeah.
Because, and I say this to my clients, you don't fix because the market's going to go up. You don't stay variable because you think the market's going to start going down. You look at yourself and your comfort levels.
Yeah.
And then you choose your decision. So I've had clients in the past who were wanting to have babies or starting their IVF journey.
I was just going to say, it depends on your goals. Hey,
absolutely.
back to the goal.
Always comes back to your goals. Yeah. If their goals are to start a family, and we're in the market we're in right now, I would lose sleep over what the rates might do, or even just what fuel might do.
Yeah.
Having that little bit of security that you're locked in for that period of time. If you do have a baby and you've got mat leave coming up, you're locked. They're the reasons why you would be looking at fixing.
Yeah.
And then, so that's my conversation I would have with a client. Let's look at what your personal comfort levels are, and then let's talk about what we might look at doing. If I wasn't a mortgage broker and you were to say to me, what do you think interest rates will do? I think they're going to go up. I think blind Freddie can see that. Inflation is looking like it's going up. The war over in the Middle East is not looking like it's going to be. I mean, there's always stuff going on over there. I'm not an expert, not going to get into it, but that's definitely not going to help our fuel prices, which is definitely not going to help inflation.
Yeah.
I think it's going to go up.
Yeah.
I don't know. Don't have a crystal ball.
Yeah.
And I
And
think,
how far they go up, or
yeah,
I think it comes, like you said, it comes back to, I think cost of living pinches everybody,
Yeah.
like, on everything. So I think if you're already a little bit on the cusp of being tight, then that's probably a conversation you need to have, or a thought to go, how much further, or do some sums and go, okay, well, if it goes up 1% more, put in a calculator. Okay, what does that equate for?
well, we've got the 360 Mortgage Solutions budget calculator.
Yeah.
So I can pop that in the show notes.
Yeah.
So if you are thinking, hey, what Bec's saying sounds really good,
Yeah.
you can play around with that in the budgeting calculator to go, okay, well, if rates do go up another 2%, that means no more Uber Eats, no more eating out. What does that look like? Where do we cut back?
Absolutely.
And then it's not a silver bullet, but it's at least in the back of your mind, you've got your worst case scenario backup plan.
Yeah.
That you can kind of pull those levers when and if things get tight.
Definitely. And like you said, if your goals are what we were talking the other day, if someone's still got kids that are, graduating in a few years, are you in the house that you want to be in for quite a long time? Fixing is probably not the worst thing if you just want to. And what we're talking about Jeremy too, like risk levels. What are your risk
Stress
levels? Yeah. Does it stress you out when they say, are the rates going to go up?
Yeah.
If it's just the fact that you'll sleep better in having the same repayment every,
Yes.
that's what it comes back to too.
I just see I will always have an element of my loan fixed
Yeah.
because I don't want to have to listen to Jeremy stressing out about what rates might do.
You're right. You can do both. You can have the best of both worlds.
Absolutely can.
Yeah.
Absolutely can.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're not locked into a certain thing. But I guess the key, like you said before, is think about what's your goals, what's your long-term plans.
Have the conversation with
and have
someone.
a conversation.
Yeah. We can go over that, then the pricing and the,
And it's funny because I remember a few years ago, right before the rates really increased from the low 1.99 fixed for 3
I was fixed at
years.
2.79.
That's so good.
Yeah.
Right before that, I had a client call me and he said, rates looking like they're going to go up. What should I do? We talked about it. He decided, no, I'm just going to pay extra into my variable instead of paying that higher fixed rate.
Yeah.
So that will allow me 2 or 3 increases.
Yeah.
Then a couple months later, he called me, said, rates are still going up. What should I do? We had that same conversation and he came to the same conclusion. The third time he called me, I said, right, these are the fixed rates. Let's look at them. Which one do you like? Let's talk about, 2 years, 3 years. What's the long-term plan?
Yeah.
Because it was evident to me each time I could talk him back down off the ledge. But by the third time I was like, no, you need to be on
You can
fixed.
tell, yeah.
Yes. If you're calling me for the third time in a couple of months to go, what are rates doing? Let's have that chat. You're stressing out. And we fixed and I didn't hear from him again for 2 years.
How good that he had you to bounce that off though. And that's probably the point too,
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's the,
Yeah.
and getting the clarity. Because again, you could be sitting there going, like, what are the options? What are like, it's not.
Well, and this is nothing on banks, but I think back to my banking career when I was taught, I did it was a 3-day course to learn home loans. Was it 3 days?
Changed over
Or a week? Anyway, so you go in, you learn how to do a mortgage, but you don't learn all this stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't know why you would pick fixed over variable, except that, I don't know, you just fix it. So you lock it in. But I didn't really think about it, and it was never taught to me about it being more about the actual person with the mortgage and less about the market, right?
Yeah.
So with that in mind, when you're going to your bank for support in this area and knowing what they get taught, 9 times out of 10, you're probably talking to someone who was like the old Maryanne who doesn't know.
But also too, I think life teaches us that too as you get if you are in that, never had a home loan before, or you're in your first home loan, I think if we go back, like in your banking years, I started in my 20s, like I was like, I didn't
Green.
have the life skill
Yep.
as well to know that until I got my own mortgage on my own, then I was like, okay, well, you have a
Even then, it took me a
more
few
personal
years
interest.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I think
Yeah.
I was on 8.8% when I first got
I
my
can't even
mortgage.
remember. Yeah.
And
It was
I
like
was like,
24.
sweet, got my loan. That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. That's all I cared about too. Yeah. I was like, "Am I yeah.
I've got a
The
house.
details were meh.
I remember a family member of mine, and I remember her getting her loan documents. I did the mortgage for her, and she was like, I'm repaying the same amount of my loan, like the same, pretty much. Let's say she bought the house for 250,000. The
Yeah.
total interest she would pay over the 30 years was 250,000. And I was like, yeah, that's how it works. And she's like, but that's ridiculous. I thought it would be more like 10,000 or. But you don't know this until you, like you said, you grow up, you learn things, you get exposed to things.
I remember a lot of people coming in and, like their home loan statement, and they'd go, "What is that?" Like they'd pay their repayment off, and then there's this big chunk that comes out every month, and you're like, "Well, that's the interest."
Sit down. Let me explain to you.
Yeah.
You're going to want to sit
Let me
down
do
for
the
this one.
breakup thing.
Yeah.
It's a breakup conversation.
Yeah.
That's a rough one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you're halfway through your mortgage and then you start to see a little bit more principal than interest being paid.
If you don't know, you don't know.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
But always asking the question.
So that takes us to our final thought, which is financial confidence doesn't come from knowing everything.
No.
It comes from taking that first step.
And have someone in your corner that you can ask.
That you can get that clarity that you need off the back of last week's episode.
Absolutely.
Get the clarity, get your goals in order, get your questions answered,
Yeah.
and then take that little one step closer towards your goal each week.
Dollars on our mind. Ideas all the time. We might get distracted, but we're building wealth just fine. This is dollars and distractions. If we went all